Hey, I want y'all to say hi to Clyde. This is Clyde. Clyde, say hello to the people. Clyde, say hello. Oh, look at that. Clyde just said hello to y'all. All right, that's Clyde, y'all. Now, Clyde and I, we sitting up here. Well, I'm laying down. He's still flying, but I felt like I was flying a minute ago. Yeah, I, I got up this morning and I went out and gave the dogs their food because they greedy, so they ate everything. And so I said, let me go give these mutts some food. So I gave the dogs their food, and then the next thing you know, I had to go and fix something on the plumbing. It wasn't a big deal. Sorry, I was getting up. And it wasn't a big deal. So I went out there and I finished and I fixed it and I got up and I was like, that's strange. I'm having trouble breathing in the morning. That don't normally happen. Sorry, I got my fajitas that I was making. And I said, that don't normally happen. And so I went on in the house and I said, okay. And I told myself that don't normally happen in the morning. Breathing, that's normally an afternoon thing, a heat thing. That's the air. Now we've been having some strange air out here with all these fires and the smog, and that stuff comes right up in this area. Well, anywho, I come up in. Sorry, it's a wooden spatula, and I gotta get that stuff off my spatula so it goes back in the pot. Anywho, and I comes on back inside, and I finished the document that I put up for the people on YouTube. Yeah, I go check that out if I was y'all. And after I go put up that document that I put together for the people on YouTube, I'm gonna sit here on the sofa for a second. I have a meeting with a group that we're starting, Clyde. Man, Clyde is gonna be something else. Yep, that one's designed to help people. Well, I have a meeting with them. We talked for an hour and 5 minutes. I know because I looked at the clock. And after we finished talking, I said, let me get on up from here. And I gets up and I'm like, man, felt like the ground was moving underneath me, but the ground wasn't moving. So I said, okay. And I keeps walking and I'm like, oh boy, it's still dizzy. And I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't the same dizzy I normally have because I have equilibrium, muscular dystrophy, all of that stuff. So I usually have an equilibrium problem. That's a daily thing, but this is different. This is behind the neck dizzy. I ain't supposed to be dizzy behind my neck. I ain't never experienced that. Oh, it could be your blood sugar. I don't give up. I checked everything. I checked blood pressure and everything. I didn't check the sugar because, I ain't got one of them, but I'll get one. But anyway, I'm like, no, it can't be that because I didn't do anything different. And it ain't the same thing because, you see, prior to the first dizziness stuff that I was going through, I was drinking nothing but water, well water at that. And what do you call that? Filtered water. As a matter of fact, I got a filter on my system here. It goes all the way up to 142. Yeah, it's at 13 right now. Yeah, I ain't never seen it go to 142 because it go to 142 and that ain't good for nothing, not even watering the plants. You know what I'm saying? Well, anywho, I just doing this to say this was strange. Now, I know when I got up, I noticed something. We had clouds in the sky. Now, we're not supposed to be having clouds right now. But the clouds we're having, these are white clouds. They're scattered. That's unusual for this area. And we got to over 90 degrees today. The first time this week we've been over 90. Last week we're over 90 every day. It's 95 right out there, right there now. Well, anywho, I was sitting up here going, neighbor. He's like, what? I says, I was probably going to need your help. He's like, well, I'm in town. I'm like, what town? He's like, the town where Costco's is. I'm like, mother, that's 120 miles away. He said, yep. So you ain't going to be getting my help anytime soon. I said, no, I just need you to check up on me to make sure everything's going all right. He says, I'll do that. And I said, all right. And when you get up here, just give me a call. He just got up here and I just talked to him. And I told him I'm feeling a little bit better. Still got some dizziness. I couldn't even go out there and water the ducks. Ducks wanted their water. They were completely plumb dry. Ducks do a lot of water, y'all. I give them 20 gallons and they go through 20 gallons a day. I mean, excuse me, every 2 days. Sorry, 20 gallons every 2 days. That's ducks, not from the just splashing in their little pond or little pool. It's a pool, not a pond. Not from just the splashing in that, but drinking water. These, man, they drank. Lord have mercy, do they drink? Well, anywho, I couldn't even finish feeding and watering them this morning. Had to come right back inside. Didn't feel right. So I said, okay, don't tell nobody on YouTube about this. Tell the people on TikTok because they can't comment. All right. Now, so, anywho, ladies and gentlemen, I sat up here and I said, Jehovah, I need your help because this don't feel right. And I said, I know you done already showed me what's coming my way, and this ain't it. So if you could lend me a hand, and apparently he did. You know, but hold on now. Let me explain something to y'all. I'm only mentioning this because it's just in case something is up. Now, I knew it wasn't a stroke or anything because I've had those before. Had 4 of them so far. 1 major, 3 minor. That's an A minor. No, not an S minor, A minor. Okay. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I knows what's coming my way. I don't think it's that. I thinks it's the barometric pressure. I believe that there really was a shift in our weather, and I could tell it when I got up this morning. I recognized it, and if you would have been here, you would have heard me say, look at that. Everything just changed. At 4 a.m. this morning, I actually said that when it came to the weather. I could actually feel the change. Okay? Everything just changed at 4 a.m. And then when I went outside with the dogs, it just didn't seem right. The weather, that is. I even looked around at the sky because something didn't seem right. And then go through this, and it's definitely a balancing act that I'm doing because it's only not when I stand up. I can stand up like right now, real fast. I'm not dizzy. But when I take those steps, about 5 or 6 steps into the walk, then all of a sudden it is. See, like right now. So it's okay. I don't want no doctors. I'm not looking for no analysis. Okay, I'm not doing no blood work for y'all. So don't y'all dare. I'm just talking right now. Well, anywho, as I stands by this door with the fans on and the air blowing, I was just saying what I said before. We have these clouds, and these appear to be monsoon clouds because they are doing like butt cheeks. They're coming together, and they're right over my place to the point where they're blocking out the sun. I needs my sun. Anywho, this is what I go through. And yet, if it had gotten worse, if it had lingered, then I have a fire department that's 10 miles away. I would have gone to them. And I would have gone to the city. Now, because wasn't here, I have another neighbor. And if he wasn't here, then I'd have the fire department call them. And I'd go through the trouble of them taking care of the insurance and all of that stuff. So that's just me letting y'all know I was okay. It's just, Monica told me to tell y'all, it's just one of those days. So I'm not taking it personal. I'm going to get off of this phone because I want to be all alone. And don't think I did you wrong. It's just one of those days. Okay? Monica, come on now. Y'all know Monica. Lord have mercy. Have a good day, y'all.